Alright guys, so to get started, I'm going to put some chapstick on my lips. I'm just using the Rosebud Salve. And then I'm going to be priming my face. I am using the Fenton Beauty Primer by Rihanna. I'm just using my fingers. Yes, I do this every day, prime my face. And then after washing my face, I will sometimes also moisturize. I do have oily skin, so I don't moisturize every morning. And then I'm just using my fingers to blend this in, especially getting my T-zone. And then after priming, I am going to spot conceal some of the scars and blemishes on my face. I'm not going to go over this in too much detail because I just made a video on how I conceal my acne. So the first thing I'm going to be using is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Redness, which just looks like this. I'm going to be using my finger. Oops, I have some extra primer on my finger. Oh, and the color in this one, because they did come out with colors, is Transforming Porcelain Beige. I'm just going to get a little bit on my ring finger, and I'm going to be concealing anywhere that is red or discolored, so around my nose, any of the scarring or the acne. And because I'm doing this before my foundation, I'm not too worried about blending it in perfectly. And so I'm just using my ring finger and dabbing. And in doing my everyday makeup, I make sure that I go and do my makeup by order of importance. In case I do run over, I don't have as much time. So this could change and vary from person to person. But for me, concealing is important. And I'm just moving around the face, as you can tell. And then once that's done, because I am pretty broken out and have a lot of redness, I am going to go over it with a concealer. It's not essential, as you can tell a difference in my face just from using the Bye Bye Redness, but for me, I do want a little more coverage. It's not necessary, but I feel it is. So today I'm going to be using the Fenton Beauty Stick. It's the match stick, and I'm in color Bamboo, and it just looks like this. And I'm just dabbing it anywhere that I feel like needs a little more coverage before I put on my foundation. It doesn't completely match my skin tone. I feel like it is a little dark, but that's okay because I'm going to be going over it with the foundation. Alright, and then once I'm satisfied with that, I'm going to be going in with my foundation. I am using the Fenton Beauty Pro Filter Foundation. It's a soft matte longwear foundation, and I am in color 150. And it just looks like this. And I am going to be using a beauty blender. I am using the tan colored beauty blender. The color doesn't matter. And I'm just squirting some of it on the beauty blender, and I'm going to work from my T-zone out. So I'm just going to dab it down, and because it is a sponge, it will soak up some of it, so you're going to have to keep applying more. And then I'm just going to work my way out, making sure to blend as much as possible. The nice thing about using a beauty blender is it will absorb any excess so that it shouldn't cake up on your face. And then if you don't have a lot of time, I would take this and just put it over my eye really quick just to get rid of the discoloration. As you can tell, this eye looks way more awake than this eye. And then after the foundation, foundation, I'm going to be concealing my under eye. I am first going to be using the Becca Cosmetics Under Eye Brightening Corrector, and it just looks like this. And then the inside is this nice peachy color. And I just use my ring finger to apply it. Then I'm just patting it under my eye. And I'm gonna do one eye at a time just to show you guys the difference. I don't always use this every day, but when I'm really tired, so basically every day, I'll use this. And then after I put that on, I'm going to put concealer on over it, and I am using the Anastasia Beverly Hills concealer, and I am in 0.5. And it just looks like that. Again, using my ring finger and just dabbing it on. You want to make sure that you're bringing the concealer all the way to the hairline and just trying to blend as much as possible. And then again, if you feel like your eyelid is still discolored, you can take it over your eyelid. I'm not going to, because generally speaking, when I'm doing my everyday makeup, I am putting on a primer and foundation. And so here's the concealed eye, and here's the not concealed eye. I just feel like the brightener and the concealer definitely just brighten up my face and make my eyes seem bigger and more awake. So then I'm going to do the other eye. So the next thing I do is set my under eyes. I will be using the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, which just looks like that. And here's the inside. I'm going to be using these two for under my eye, just going back and forth. And the brush I'm going to be using is the Sigma Tapered Highlighter F35. And yes, it's dirty. I know, guys, I really need to clean my brushes. And then we're just patting it, starting from the inside, working your way out, and then going from the outside and going back in. You don't want to rub this because it's going to move everything that you just set in place. And then I do go in and contour or bronze just a little bit with the palette. I'm going to be using this middle one, and I'm just using a brush like this. This is the Wayne Goss brush number 12. I'm just starting from the outside and just using a little bit, and starting from the outer part of my face and working my way in and just blending. You want the most product on the outer part of your face, and then bringing in whatever's left over on the brush towards the inner part of your face. And then I'm going to be taking the same color and going around my face. And then also going down my chin. And then that's it for that. And before I set my face, it did lift up a little bit of what I concealed, so I'm going to be going back in with the Fenton Beauty stick and just putting a little bit on my finger and dabbing it. This is what happens when you rub, guys. And then you can see the sty under my eye. It did come up when I put the powder on, so I will be putting a little more concealer on it, just the Anastasia concealer, using just a tiny bit and patting it on there. Alright, so next I'm going to be setting my face. I will be using the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores, which just looks like this. It's a translucent powder. And I'll be using a big fluffy brush. I'll just be using this Wayne Goss brush, which is number, oh, it's rubbed off. I don't know what number it is, it's rubbed off. And I'm just patting in on my face. Next I'm going to quickly do my eyebrows. I'm just using the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in Soft Brown. I'm just using one of her brushes. It's number 12. And I'm just going to be dabbing it in and putting a little bit on my brows. I'm not going to be doing a full or heavy brow for my everyday makeup. I'm just filling in any blank spaces. I have really full brows, so this part isn't essential, but I try and do it. And then I'm going to go in with the bristly end and just form my brows and make sure all the hairs are cooperating. Next, I'm going to go in and put a primer on my eyes. I am using the Lorac Behind the Scenes Eye Primer. I'm going to be using my ring finger and putting a little bit on my eyes and letting it set. And then after that, I'm going to line my waterline. I am using the Highbrow from Benefit. I'm just going to, like I said, line my waterline. And then next, while I'm waiting for the primer on my eyes to dry a little bit, I'm going to do my lips. So I'm going to be lining my lips with Bite Cosmetics number 12 lip pencil. And then for lipstick, I typically go with a nude looking lipstick. Today I'm going to be using the Maybelline Matte in 540, which is Peach Buff. Okay, on to the eyes. So I am using two different palettes. You could get away with using one, but I like putting a warmer color in my crease first, and the palette does not have that. However, you don't have to do this first step. I will be using the Urban Decay Basics Naked 2 palette. And this is the inside. You could get away with using this one in the crease, but it's just a little dark for me. So for my crease, I'm going to be using the Visart palette. I'm probably saying that wrong. Is it Visart? Visart? I don't know. Some fancy name. And this is in 01 Neutral Matte. And the palette looks like this. I'm going to be using mainly this one. And if it's too heavy or too pigmented, I'll go in with this second one over it. But for today, we're just using these two. And maybe that one. We'll see. So to start, I'm going to be getting a thinner crease brush, which is the Wayne Goss number 5 brush. And I'm going to be taking it in, like I said, this top one for now, and then we'll see. And I'm just going back and forth in like a windshield wiper motion and just making sure to blend. This part we're trying to pack on the pigment, and then later on we're going to be going in with a fluffier brush to blend it out. And then obviously whatever I do to one eye, I'm going to do to the other. Okay, so we are going to be using two colors. I'm going to be going in with this color on a fluffier brush and blending out the color that we just put in the crease. So I'm going to be using the Wayne Goss number 3 brush, which just looks like this. It's a fluffier brush. And I'm going to be dabbing it in this color right here, and then just blending it out. And then once that's done, we're going to be putting some eyeshadow under the waterline. I'm going to be going in with this color and just going across the bottom of my lashes. And then I'm going to be going in with the lighter color and putting it closer to the inner part of my eyes, but still on the bottom lash line. And then for this next part, for the inner corner of our eyelid, I'm going to be going in and using the Urban Decay Naked Basics 2 palette. I'm going to be going in with this color, and then sometimes, depending on if I want my eye brighter, I will mix the brush between this first color and then this white color on this palette. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. I'm just going to put a little bit of this white color on my brush and then move it over to the Urban Decay palette and then going in with that color. And then I'm just going to pat it and pack on the color on the inner part of my eyelid. Also be bringing it down to the lower part of my eye just to help brighten it up. And then I'll also be putting it on the inner corner of my eye to help brighten it up. Alright, so we are done with this palette. So I'm going to be going in with, I'm sorry guys, and that brush that I used for the inner part of my eye is a MAC brush. I don't even know which one it was, but this is the MAC brush. And then for the outer part of my eyelid, I'm going to be going in with another flat tapered brush. This is the Wayne Goss number 18 brush. And I'm just going to be going in with this one to start, and then if need be to build it up, I will go in with this one. But we're just putting this color right here on the brush and starting from the outer corner. And it is called Cover. So we're just packing this one in. And then I'm going to be going in with Frisk, which is right here. And then starting from the mid-center and blending the colors into one another. And then I'm going to be going in with Stark, which is this color right here, and blending those into the inner color. And then this is just no color, just taking the brush back over the outer part to try and take any of the light color or residue that's been put on there. And for me, this is fine, this is dark enough. However, some days I do go back in and I will put this color right here in the outer part of my lid, but for today, this is good enough. So the next part is just to blend the crease. So I'm using another tapered brush. This is another Wayne Goss brush because he's amazing. It's number 19. And I'm just going to blend the crease. And that's it for the eyeshadow. Another thing that I could do if I were to darken up the outer corner is to darken up below the waterline. But for me, today, this is good enough. And then one thing that I forgot to do typically before I do my eyeshadow is my blush. I forgot, so we're gonna do it now. I'm using an Inglot palette from their Freedom system. I don't know the number, guys, I'm sorry. But I'm going to be going in with this blush, and I'm using a Real Techniques blush brush, and just putting a little bit on. This stuff is extremely pigmented. A little bit goes a long ways. And then next I'm going to be curling my eyelashes. I'm using the Tarte eyelash curler. And what I do is just curl towards the base, giving it a couple squeezes, and then work my way out. And so for my bottom lashes, I am using Buxom's Big T's. It is a little bit dried out, and for me it just works better because I have really thin, long lashes. for my top lashes, if I have time, I'll use the Dior Maximizer 3D Triple Volume Plumping Lash Primer. Basically Dior's lash primer, which just looks like this. But I'm not going to be using it today. I'm just going to be using mascara because let's say I'm running behind. So I will be using Too Faced Better Than Sex Mascara. And when I do my mascara, I just start at the base and wiggle and push it in for the first time that I put it on, and then I'll go back and work my way out towards the ends. But this first time that I'm putting it on, I'm just mainly getting it put in the base of the eyeshadow as close as I can get to the eyelid. And then I'll go back over and work it out towards the end. So now I'm going to be taking it from the base and working it towards the end of the eyelashes. And then that's pretty much it, guys, for my everyday makeup look. If I have time, I will line my top lashes and give it a small wing. And if I do so, I'm using the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner in Trooper Black, which just looks like this. But I'm not gonna lie, when I teach, I don't always have time to do that. So generally, or lately, I've been looking like this. So this will be my everyday makeup look. And then maybe when I have time, I'll do an updated one with the eyeliner. Alright guys, so here's my everyday makeup look. I hope you enjoy. If so, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified of when I upload new videos. I would love for you to come along with me on my journey. Well, that's it. Thanks!